We are going to provide you a preliminary statement on what occurred tonight. We are just a couple hours into our investigation, so everything is preliminary and could change. Major Janice Bachstruck, she's the commander of professional standards, along with Lieutenant Billy March, who's the commander of force investigations, is here, and then we'll come back and provide a little bit of some context to what occurred tonight. Major Bachstruck.
Yes. This evening around 8 p.m., 5th District officers received a call for service in the 5600 block of Waterman, 5700 block of Waterman, for an argument among two individuals, a male and a female, and that the male was armed with a firearm. Upon arrival, the officers encountered a male and a female standing on a porch in the 5700 block of Waterman. They gave directions to the male to show his hands. The female victim was screaming and hollering. He then turned, shot the female that was on the porch with him, and then exchanged gunfire with the officer who had just arrived. The officer then retreated to a safe location, got a tactical position, re-encountered the gentleman who is now going in and out of the house. There was another exchange of gunfire. At that moment, the suspect who had shot the female went back into his home. The officer got other officers here to try to get to the porch to render aid to the female victim. They retrieved the female victim, got her to a safe location to try to give her aid, and then they entered the house to address the male suspect who had shot her. He was located inside the house, suffering from a gunshot wound. We are saddened today to say that the female was transported to an area hospital where she has died this evening. The male is in critical condition. He is, it's critical unstable at this time. No officers were injured during this incident. The suspect's gun has been recovered. We know right now that our officer is a 7-year veteran, and we will continue this information. We'll provide more information as it becomes available. That's what we know from this very short preliminary investigation. Any specific question about that?
So I just want to add a little bit of some context. We just had an opportunity to watch the body camera video. Those are very interesting perspectives from a police officer's point of view, and our detectives rely heavily on those body cam videos. What you see in that body cam video is an officer responding to a call of a woman who needed help, and that officer doing everything he possibly could to eliminate the threat of a guy that was firing shots, but ultimately officers tried to save her life in that process. It is nothing short of heroic of these officers that responded here tonight, and that officer who engaged the suspect on a couple of different times, as the Major just shared with you. I think that it would give all St. Louisans a little bit of some ease tonight, knowing that when officers face danger, they do it professionally, they do it quickly, and they do everything they can to save human life. So the officer was truly heroic in what he tried to do.
Is this a house that you guys have responded to?
We can pull some of the calls for service tomorrow if you'd like.
Is the suspect and the victim, are they both adults, or do we know their ages at this time?
We're working on getting the ages, and we'll release that tomorrow, but it's my understanding they're both adults.
They're adults.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. They're not teenagers.
Were they put on, was the officer put on leave at this time, or is that still?
We'll do as our protocol says, so the officer will have to go through a series of steps, which includes reevaluation, mental health evaluation. Like, we want to make sure our officers are healthy to get back out on the street. I mean, you have to realize, as he approached, he is totally exposed and didn't know that that was the gentleman that was armed, right? So he was very heroic this evening.
Were they in a relationship? Were they family?
All of that, we've barely gotten to the point that we were able to even see body cameras. So to go any farther into any of those details is going to be very difficult for us to tell you what relationships are, whether or not they both live there. All those things are,
So
I don't know.
the responding officer pulled up by himself, not with a partner?
Yeah, He
I'm-
did, but he was the first one that
Gotcha,
got
okay.
to the, you know what I'm saying?
Yep,
Like
I
they
hear
are
you.
two people get the call, but he was the first one to approach the porch.
Gotcha.
I do think it's worth noting, Kim, you had asked about calls for service. That'll be part of what FIU does in this process, is look for calls for service to try and get an idea on the history of if there is one at this house, to ultimately try and paint a better picture to maybe what was unfolding in that argument. And as the major had said, the suspect is in critical and stable condition. If his condition improves, detectives will be talking with him, because this is also a murder. He killed somebody.
Officers were not injured, correct?
No officers were
officers
injured.
Thank you for asking.
Did anybody else live in that house? Or is it
We
not
have,
sure?
they were the only two individuals there at the time of the incident that we know of, right now.
And as far as the firearm, are you able to?
It's a
Und-
semi-automatic pistol, that's all I can give you right now.
Well,
It hasn't been
was
processed.
it legally
It has not,
bought or?
we haven't processed the scene yet,
Okay.
so all we know is what we see. We still have to wait for the processing to go through. So at this point, we haven't done anything with it yet.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank you guys very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Thank you.